So I bought a new sewing machine today. I decided to take the plunge and to get into the industrial sewing machine world. I'll tell you, this has been quite the evolution from when I started. I bought this Singer heavy duty 4432 about a year and a half ago, and I started learning to sew, basically self-taught stuff from the internet, YouTube, you name it. And that thing has actually been a really good machine. I have put not too much stuff through it, but as far as sewing goes, it was a learning curve. I'd never sewn a stitch in my life on a sewing machine until I bought that Singer 4432. And I wanted to basically fix all the stuff that I had that was broken. All my camouflage hunting pants, shooting pants, backpacks, some of the straps on my backpacks, these things, the clasps had come off, not on this one, but other backpacks that I own. So I decided, well, you know what? I'm going to get on the internet like everybody else does and get on YouTube and find out whether I could do this myself or was I just, spinning my wheels. I decided on buying that machine and it's been great. It's basically done everything that it's needed to do that I've thrown at it up until now. And it was something that, didn't cost a lot of money. I think I paid $200 for that machine. I got it online, but I know they have them at Walmart too. It's a zigzag machine and a straight stitch machine. You can adjust that. And it's pretty much been my learning curve. I started doing pants, hemming my pants, sewing rips that I've had in my shirts, my pants, all the expensive camouflage gear that I didn't want to throw out or get rid of. And it's worked out quite well. And here we are today, a year and a half later. And here is the industrial sewing machine that I just picked up. This is quite a machine. It is the Singer 111 W150. It is an industrial needle feed machine. It is not a walking foot machine for all those that are wondering. There is a bunch of models that have the walking foot when it comes to this machine, but this is not one of them. I bought this machine here in Arizona off of Facebook Marketplace. It came with, well, let's start with the table. Came with the sewing machine table that was not obviously originally with it. And it also came with this Consew servo motor, which is a C1000 servo motor, which I'm sure is a brushless motor, the thread stand, and the foot pedal and all the good stuff that comes with a sewing machine table. It's my very first one, so I'm trying to figure it out still. It also has the thread winder, the bobbin winder, that goes on the side that I'll obviously figure out how to use. Doesn't seem too complicated, but we'll see. So this particular machine pulled some specs off the internet and just kind of wanted to go over what the official announcement is when they come out and you Google this thing. So this is a Singer 111 150 industrial sewing machine. It has a W serial number, which means that this particular machine was made during any time between 1940 and 1950. Don't quote me on that, but that's basically what they say. It has the W prefix on the serial number basically states that this Singer machine was made at the Bridgeport, Connecticut factory in the good old USA, which that's kind of why I bought it. I like that fact. The crazy thing about these machines is that there's a lot of information on them as far as how they work and what they did, but the W machines, all the records that Singer had at their Bridgeport facility burned up in a fire a long, long time ago. So there's not much information except for what people have kind of garnered together and put up into a, as much information as they could. And there's a company actually on the internet that is called the International Sewing Machine Collective Society Database. I guess it's not a company, it's just a database. So the ISMACS. And if you enter your information into that database, You can find out usually roughly when the machine may have been made, or there's a rough estimate. It's not an exact science because they don't have the records, but it's pretty close. So you got to figure these machines right here are going on. The one I have is going on 86, 87 years old, somewhere around there, 90 years old, and that's pretty amazing that it still works today. That's a testament to how things were built back then. So what are the particular parameters of this machine? What can it do? So I started off with the needle and thread. So this particular machine, just uses a standard 135 by 17 needle. Now, when I say standard, there's a ton of different options for machines, and this is what the gentleman who I bought it from gave me with it. And this is basically the 135 by 17. It is a size 20 needle. Now, if you know anything about the needles, they range anywhere from home machine use, the smaller 11, 12, 13 size needles, all the way up to the 23s and even 24s, I think, on some of the bigger machines. But this machine basically has been running with a size 20 needle, 19 needle, and 18 needles for the last few years. The guy's owned it. And he basically is a leather crafter that's doing smaller projects on lighter, medium type leather and other, purses and wallets and stuff like that. I've got a couple of different size threads with this machine that the gentleman gave me, and this is the stuff he gave me, from the white one all the way over to the black. And it is basically a 69 nylon bonded 69 style thread. I particularly have a different size thread, and I use it's the 92, which, from every indication, this machine likes to run the 92. According to what I've read online and from talking to people, it runs 92 thread really well. It will handle up to 138 thread, which is what I plan to use in it if I do a boat cover. So the downside of this machine is that it's old. The upside of this machine is that it's old, because there's still a ton of parts online and at sewing machine shops all over the country and online that you can get basically everything you see on here. The tension adjusters, the bobbin casings, the presser foots, everything that you could possibly want for this machine. It has a timing belt, which is one of the things that you look at if you're going to buy this machine, to whether this has been replaced or whether it's cracked and old. And there's schools of thought that say that the timing machine or the timing belt is difficult to replace. After looking at the machine, I don't see it that way, but I might be mistaken. It looks like it's pretty straightforward if you have any mechanical knowledge at all of these machines or of anything. I think it should be pretty straightforward. And I know there's some videos and some directions out there that tell you how to do it. And there's even stuff in the manual that tell you how to do it, which this one came with this manual. And this is just a generic, printed out, newer manual for this machine of the original old school instructions that the machines came with. Just for comparison, I wanted to put this 4432 that I have, the heavy duty Singer that I bought, on my scale. This is a food style scale. It's a 50-pound scale, tailor-made scale. As you can see, it's right around 14.5 pounds for that machine. In comparison to the 4432 at 14.5 pounds, this machine maxes my scale out at, this would have been 50 pounds. So it's at 59 pounds and it bottoms it out. So we're talking, I don't know how many, 60 plus pounds possibly for the machine head of the 111W150. So there's a considerable difference in what you'd call a portable machine and what you call an industrial machine. I'd been looking for one of these machines. I was actually looking for the true unison feed, walking foot style machine, triple feed. There's all kinds of names for them, but this machine is not that. And I'll explain that by basically coming down here to the needle and showing you what this machine is all about. So if you lower the presser foot and you spin the wheel, as you see, the needle comes up and it goes forward and then it comes down. Up, forward, down. Needle feed. Needle feed meaning the needle grabs the material and the feed dogs underneath the machine or underneath the foot grab the material from the bottom. So it's being pulled in from the bottom and then the needle moves it along from the top. True needle feed. But as you can see, the presser foot on top does not move, making it a non-walking foot machine. There's so many of these machines out there that have so many different functions. Jump feed, walking feed, needle feed, drop stitch, which is this one. I think that's what it's called, the drop needle, drop feed, drop stitch, where it doesn't move at all. It just goes straight up and down. The needle goes straight up and down inside the presser foot, and the bottom feed dogs move the material along with you assisting it. So when you're looking at these machines and you're thinking that you're going to get one that you want, you got to really, really be careful, and you got to really talk to the people that are selling them, because they may believe that it's a walking foot machine because the needle's moving, but that's not the case. The second thing that you have to be careful with that I found out on this machine is there's different styles of clutch motor adjustments on a lot of the machines, where you had a button right here you had to push to advance the stitch length through a window here. You could see it and it would tell you what stitch length you're on. And I was under the assumption when I talked to the gentleman I bought this from that was the style machine, and I actually questioned on whether that was missing so that I could push that to gauge the stitch length. And he informed me that the stitch length adjustment was not on that machine right there. It's right there. It's actually on the flywheel. And this is where you adjust your stitch length. So it goes anywhere from 6 stitches all the way up to 32 on this machine. And you just basically turn that to the stitch length you want, and the machine adjusts. It's actually pretty simple, pretty straightforward. There's no buttons to push. But that's this style machine that I have. So really what made me decide to jump down this sewing machine hole and buy this industrial strength machine? I guess I was kind of looking to step up from this machine to a walking foot style machine. And if you're on the internet and you look at any of the videos that are out there on YouTube, a company that pops up almost inevitably every time you pull up sewing machines is Sailrite. And the Sailrite machines are a portable style machine like that, but they are, from what I understand, everything about them is top quality, top notch. I haven't had a Sailrite machine. I don't own one right now, but I bought Sailrite. I bought this thread from them. I bought some other stuff from Sailrite just for that machine right there. And I've had really good luck dealing with them, questions asked, and they have an immense amount of videos on the internet for you to watch at the Sailrite website. You can just basically go watch sewing videos till your heart's content. And I guess that was the ultimate goal for me in getting a walking foot or needle feed style machine, was that I have a 22-foot North River aluminum fishing boat that has a semi-rigid bimini top on it that is about 14 years old, and it was in desperate need of being replaced about 2 years ago, and it's been sitting in storage since then. And it was time for me to start really thinking about whether I could get the boat back to Oregon, where there's a ton of manufacturers or a ton of seamsters that do boat tops and repairs, and they do a very good job, and there's a bunch of them out there, or do I go on and try to do this myself. And that's literally where this machine came from, that idea. Now, I don't know if I'm biting off more than I can chew. I'm sure that I am, but that's kind of just how I do things. And we're going to see if this machine is capable, and if it's not, and I can't get this machine to do what I want, then it'll be getting sold, and I'll be figuring on moving on to the next one and trying to spend a little bit more money and see what I could come up with. But for what I'm doing right now and trying to teach myself how to use the servo motor, use the treadle that's in the bed of the machine. One of the reasons that I liked this machine is I kept looking at the style of it. And when I'd look at newer machines, and I was looking at Consos and Jukis and everything you all have looked at before, and I kept seeing the same style of machine. I kept seeing this top plate. I kept seeing this style right here, the tension adjustment right here, the square part. And I hadn't really seen the Singers, and I didn't know that these were basically the machine they were cloning. So I started doing my homework like all of you have, and started looking at the clones of this machine is basically what they are, like the Conso 225 and 226. And one thing I forgot to tell you about this machine, it does not have a reverse. And that's one of the things you got to look at on a lot of these old Singer 111 machines. They don't have reverse. They didn't backstitch. They turn things around if they needed to stitch it. And there's plenty of internet videos that show you how to, lift the presser foot, pull it back a little bit, and then bring the machine back and sew a backstitch on it. It really wasn't a deal breaker for me because I was going to be sewing so slow that I just figured I'd go ahead and do that and figure out how to reverse the stitches on this without having a reverse on the machine. Now, that was one of the upgrades that a lot of those machines have made, was they added a reverse lever. You see it right here on the machine, and you can backstitch and reverse with those machines, which is nice to have. I mean, I won't say it isn't. This actually little Singer machine right here has one. This is your reverse lever. Push it back and it reverses the stitch and locks the stitch in. But I figured this machine would give me a chance to practice and screw up as much material as I possibly could, which the gentleman who sold me this machine gave me 2 big bags of leather, and there's some different stuff in here. I asked him, and he was kind enough. He's a leather crafter, and it was no sweat off him. They were going to throw that stuff out, and it was perfect for me to burn through all this thread and try to figure out if I can do this or not. I'm going to be making some more videos on this topic. Obviously, I just got this machine. I'm pretty excited about it, and I don't want to lead anybody on to believe that I know how to sew or I know what I'm talking about, because I really don't. This is basically just internet knowledge that I've gained, YouTube knowledge I've gained to know a little bit more than some, but not as much as most about this topic. And I'm sure that there's going to be a steep learning curve with this servo motor and the way that this thing stitches. But come along with me on the ride, and we'll see what we can come up with. And hopefully I can answer any questions. If I don't know the answer, I'll surely try to find them for you. There's a wealth of information out there, and there's a lot of YouTubers that I've talked to and asked questions to that were more than happy to answer my questions. So if I can do that for you, please let me know, leave a comment, and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.